let's chat a bit about trends, because you mentioned a few things in there, and spotting the opportunity in 2013. I'm sure trends a bit the area of focus as well. Looking at climate change, where do you think the world is going in the future, and what you see as the future prospects around the broader industry? Talk to me a little bit about what you're seeing.
Yeah. As I mentioned, we focus on Canada and the US. If you look Canada, I think overall we are truly a environmental leader as a country. 80% of our electricity energy are already from non-emitting sources. We have a lot of hydro, we have a lot of nuclear, and so on and so forth, right? So from Canada, 80% of our electricity already non-fossil fuel based, right? But to maintain our country's leadership, that we need to looking at the 20%. There are opportunities, I would say, in Alberta, in Nova Scotia, in New Brunswick. Those states still, for historical reasons, have a higher carbon content in electricity. And those are the ones, I think, with the federal and provincial government that we are moving, doing a lot of work. On the other hand, because climate change, we don't have a lot of snow, and so we don't have lots of water. The level of the water behind the dams are probably not as good as we would like, in the case of BC Hydro, in BC of Manitoba, so on and so forth, that, people are also looking at alternatives. In addition to big hydro dams, they're looking for solar, they're looking for wind, right? So that's in Canada. I would say, as I mentioned, this business is no longer speculation. The energy produced from this new technology already at parity with traditional sources of energy, right? But I think, as a leader in this country, and we look at our biggest neighbor, which is the US, today in the United States, 80% of their energy are still from fossil fuels. So the administration, whether it's Republican or Democratic, they have a desire by 2030, they want to do a big flip, which is 80% fossil fuel-based energy becomes 80% renewable-based energy. Now, if you look at the Inflation Reduction Act, on the renewable energy alone was $600 billion put aside to encourage participation at all levels of the society. Right? As you know, we earn a lot of EV charging projects because the national EV initiatives. We earn a lot of introductions from the government. We have a 30 years credential with Maryland. We have Central New York Economic Development Agency open doors for us to go into the New York government. And so everyone is primed to making sure that achieve this. So now you say, must be incentive driven and so on and so forth. I would say actually the incentives are a pass-through to our consumers. Give you an example of our subscribers in the States, which I'm glad to see that is happening in Canada, in Nova Scotia, sir. Solar power to residential customers as subscribers at a 10% discount of their utility price, right? You would have to think why, we can sell solar power at lower than the utility. It is because of the cost reduction. It's because of the investment tax credits, because of the Inflation Reduction Act. Most importantly, because the need for our customers, most of them are low and medium income societies, that to not only reduce the cost, but they can say, I participated in the fight of global warming, climate change, right? So those are the ways that we feel the industry is going. A lot of people say that will solar or wind be the only one? The answer is no. Solar and wind have their seasonalities, have their intermittencies. So that's why we get into batteries, we get into EV charging. To overall the system at the end of the day will be a combination of technologies, but we're trying to say is that let's keep the technology but reducing the carbon content of electricity produced, not only in the electricity business, but also in the transportation business. Right? So that's the trend that we are seeing.